Welcome to the AnyWare Apps podcast. We are in episode 4 in AnyWare Apps podcast. I'm Kevin Deveci, your host. I have a special guest today in AnyWare Apps podcast episode. I'm going to invite our guest to our stage and let's get the conversation started. Hello, Blake. Welcome to the AnyWare Apps podcast episode 4.
How are you today, sir?
Good. Thank you very much. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Thank you for joining me in this episode. Where are you connecting out of?
Connecting out of Austin, Texas.
All right. Sounds great. Well, we have a lot to cover, and I love our audience to learn more about you as well as Cherry Bekaert as an organization, as a great organization. So let's start our discussion if that's okay. As a start, would you please introduce yourself and the organization to our listeners and to our viewers?
Sure. So my name is Blake Hancher. I'm the Sage Intact Siri Sales Manager for Cherry Bekaert, and based out of Austin, Texas. And my role is primarily to work with our construction clients who are evaluating an upgrade from their current accounting systems to a more advanced construction and financial platform.
Okay, great. Well, let's dive deeper a little bit before we talk about some other subjects, especially your professional career journey. So, what type of organizations that you are typically engaging and offering Sage Intacct products? Also, if there is any particular profile. So our audience is a mix, and
Sure.
our audience is typically business professionals, that's for sure, followed by experts in technical fields, but heavily general business. So please tell more about the type of businesses that you typically work with.
Sure. So, personally, I've worked with businesses far and wide, but here at Cherry Bekaert, I focus primarily in our construction market. So those are your primary GCs, your subs, right? Anybody kind of affiliated in that industry. I would say that the target market that we're looking for is one for move into the more advanced construction ERP platform. You're looking for someone who is probably north of the $10 to $15 million revenue mark, although the smaller ones can certainly make the jump. We've done it many times before, but really we're focused in on the ones who are growing or the ones who are having trouble scaling with their current tech solution.
So for this type of organizations, what makes Cherry Bekaert different? What makes Sage Intacct different, just for our audience to understand the difference and the importance?
Well, I think first off, Cherry Bekaert's, it's a top-ranked U.S. audit, tax, and advisory firm, right? Number one. So it has a huge list of what I like to call kind of the heavy hitters in the industry, right? So these are folks who were quite successful personally and are now sharing their success through our service offerings with our Cherry Bekaert clients specifically. And for me personally, when I made the jump over here to Cherry Bekaert, really did that because it's a multi-tooled organization. So it just gave me more leverage as I work through evaluations with clients and in terms of being able to offer them solutions or direction as to which way to maneuver.
Okay, well, that's a great introduction. And in these episodes, we also love to learn about you. Would you please tell us about your career journey? How did you get started? How your career
Yeah,
journey has unfolded over the years?
sure. So, actually, start my very first job I ever started was in construction, and it was literally sweeping floors for a small GC, and moved up from that. Actually, my first year, I was so tired of coughing up dirt. I think I briefly tried working at a dry cleaners, for about 3 months and dropped that. Went right back to it. Continued on through high school, parts of college, working all the way up to almost the assistant superintendent level. And so for me, that construction is really in my roots. I have family in this area, but after college, I moved into the tech space for about 7.5 years. I was recruited into oil and gas. Started in the software group, working with quality folks in terms of the data collection, deployments, testing, development, and really championed that position for about probably 11 and a half years in the oil and gas space. And then I was recruited by a friend into Oracle, selling their ERP system, NetSuite specifically, into their what they called a retail emerging vertical. And so as I was there, of course, things changed a little bit over time, and I had some team members that moved over to Sage, and so for really the past year, I had to hear about how good the Kool Aid was over at Sage, and I finally decided to make the jump, and I'm glad I did, right? Because it really opened up my eyes, I think, in terms of what was possible, what I felt like was maybe a better overall architecture of how the system is evaluated, sold, deployed, and supported. And so remained with Sage Direct for about 4 years, and that's really where I started my relationship with the folks here at Cherry Bekaert. I always brought them in anytime I had complex deals or deals that required heavy customization. And I just needed that next level expertise by my side throughout the evaluation. And so when the opportunity opened up to join Cherry Bekaert, I took the jump. Right, it was an easy decision for me. So and now I'm here and leading the Intech Siri practice. So it's been an exciting career so far.
Yes, this is very inspiring.
Yeah.
What is the secret of your success?
I mean, that's a good question. I don't know that there's any one secret. Tell you the same thing I tell my kids, which is like it's hard work, right? Just you have to put your head down and grind through it. And anybody who has been successful in sales understands that it takes grit, determination, and lots of hard work, right? There's a lot of late nights you have to put in. There's a lot of details you have to manage, and you have to stay focused, and you have to think about really the end success, right? Which is helping clients out, right? Having the opportunity to have a seat at the table with that client, understand how they built their business, where their current state of affairs are, and then how do we move that to the next level, right? And I honestly feel like that's probably what keeps me opening up the office door every day. Honestly, is just the opportunity to sit with folks who I feel are really the most successful individuals I've had the opportunity to meet. So
Well, can you tell us about the state of your industry when you look at it? How
yeah,
do you see the industry in general? Just to share some educational content with our audience, any
sure.
trends, and then right after that, let's jump to the impact of AI as well.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, I think as far as the industry is concerned, I mean, construction has been an exciting space. I think call it in the past 3 to 4 years, a lot of us have felt the what we call the construction boom, right? That really started during COVID when the whole remote work took place, and folks really took the opportunity to either, build their dream home and settle in, or kind of expand their current residence. And so we saw this huge boom in construction, which was exciting to see for a lot of folks who, for a long time maybe even had stagnated a bit on the growth line, or were just kind of, and slowly growing, and really just it took everything into the next gear. It was kind of crazy. And now that those COVID is behind us, and things have kind of settled down, I think what the industry is doing is they're focused heavily on, I would say, streamlining, the operation, right? Giving them the ability to get as granular as they possibly can be. At least for me personally, my clients that come through looking to upgrade their platforms, they're looking for granularity, right? And it's cost control, because you don't always know what's down the road, whether it's next week, next month, 6 months, right? I think we've all seen some of the effects of some of the international engagements, the war, right? Things going on in the market, and some of the effect that's had in the industry, at least in the short term. And so when those types of events happen, right, you as a business owner are doing what you can to protect what you have built. And the only way to do that is to have access to data to make a near real-time decision, if you can. And so that's really what most of my clients are after.
All right. Well, how about the impact of AI? How do you see the impact of AI on business nowadays?
Yeah. Well, AI is huge. It's not just in the construction world. I think I tell my kids, I went really through the invention of the cell phone. For me, that was the revolutionary change, and for them, their revolutionary change is AI, right? Even me, as old as I am, and seeing what's taking place with AI, it's hard to really know where we're going to be in 6 months to a year, because things are just advancing so quickly in that area. But I think in the world of accounting, construction, accounting is really, it's data, it's data input, it's analysis, it's correction, it's more analysis, and then it's really making a decision based off that data. And so AI is truly, it's revolutionizing, I think, everybody's platform. If you are a software company today, and you do not have any AI baked into your platform, you're already behind, right? And so I'm certainly seeing the impact in my world of ERP. And I'm really excited, honestly, for what 6 months to a year down the road. I mean, it's hard to say, because it's changing so quickly.
Well, have you had any role models, any mentors who help you shape your career journey over the years?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think personally, it's been my family. Most of my family is in the medical field, doctors and nurses, and I've seen, we didn't grow up in a big city. I grew up in a small farm town, and so watching how hard my parents worked to provide for our family, really kind of grind their way through, and to be as successful as they are, that was always the motivator for me. I mean, you always want to live up to your parents' expectations, right? But personally, I just wanted to be a good role model for my kids, and which meant a lot of hard work, right? But also being there as a parent. I didn't want to rob Peter to pay Paul, basically, and finding that balanced approach. And the career field that I've chosen in the world of ERP has allowed me that opportunity. So,
If there is one key career lesson that you learned the hard way, what would it be that you can share with us?
I think number one is never assume. That's been the biggest one for me, right? And in this world where we're evaluating someone's business and looking at, what direction we might want to recommend for, software platforms, right? The number one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to ever assume anything, right? And we want to make sure that the client is fully in sync with, what we are. I think what we're number one recommending, and number two, like, what their future state really might end up being. To me, that's just, there's a lot of sales folks out there who assume quite a bit, and they don't honestly let the customer talk, and they don't listen enough. And so for me, it's been never assume, always listen to your customers, right? Really trying to put yourself into their shoes, and trying to envision where they see themselves in the next 6 months and the next year. And that really allows you the opportunity, I think, to align to kind of their goals and ambitions. So
In business, sometimes there are challenges, and there is uncertainty. So in times of challenges, uncertainty, hardship, what is the best way to stay motivated and inspired in business?
well, I mean, we all go through, I think, ups and downs, right? And the way that I stay motivated is that, every time that I get off my computer, or shut down my email, right? It's do I feel like I have accomplished something today? It's really about baby steps, quite honestly, and just, making sure that whatever you're doing is always moving the needle forward, right? We never want to stagnate or take a step backwards, right? There's always going to be a bumpy road. It's never smooth sailing, to be quite honest with you. And so, if you know these are things that are going to happen, right? You can prepare yourself as much as you possibly can, right? You can never be prepared for everything, but you can be prepared as you can possibly be. And so really you just have to put your head down and work your way through it, and just make sure you're always moving the needle forward.
Okay, this is a fun question, and I'm really curious about your answer. If you had a chance to go back history, personally or historically, to what time period would you like to go back, and why?
Honestly, I think I'd probably go back to 2000, right? Which was really the tech boom, just knowing what I know now.
Yes.
And it was really just the internet, revolution, right? And just everything was in its infancy. And I think just being able to take different directions, or I think a lot of people would be like, well, I would have bought Bitcoin, Kevin. I mean, certainly I all would have, right? But it was an exciting time, right? I actually graduated high school in 2000. And so that was just, everything was going crazy, kind of like we're seeing now with AI. But I think there's just so many different directions that I could have taken my career. And I think really with any of those choices, we all would have ended up on a road of success. But that's probably the time period I would go back to. I felt like that was one of the most exciting time periods, at least in my lifetime. So
Well, in AnyWare Apps podcast, we love talking about books. Is there a book, a movie, a show that helped you shape your career perspective over the years?
so actually, as of a few days ago, I was getting ready to board a plane, and I told myself, I said, well, I'm not going to forget to download a book this time, just in case the internet doesn't work on the plane and I can't do any work. And so I did. I downloaded a book. I don't know if I want to repeat the title on here, but it was really just about not focusing on problems, and really looking ahead and controlling what you can control, and not worrying about the things that you can't control, right? Just kind of being patient, honestly, is really the main theme of the book. And so for me personally, that kind of resonates with me, right? Because even when we're in deals and evaluations and, it's competitive in nature and things are looking rocky, right? I'm looking at the end goal, right? And that is, the end goal is the client going, Blake, I want to work with you, right? You are the what we call the vendor of choice. And so, yeah, that's, again, I don't want to say the title on
Okay.
on the
No,
podcast.
this
But
is
yeah,
great.
it's a good book.
You
Yeah.
you just mentioned the gist of the book, so and that is a lesson, and it makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense for all of us in business. And this is great. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate it.
You got
Okay,
it.
well, what is your career advice for the next generation professionals?
Career advice for the next generation of professionals. I mean, honestly, I think for the next generation, I would just ask that they need to really explore their opportunities, right? You don't just take one thing and stick with that, at least in my opinion, right? I mean, travel as much as you possibly can, especially while you're young. If you have that opportunity, see the world, right? If you live in a box, then you think in a box. And so I've always felt like, seeing other parts of the world, other cultures, right? Having the opportunity to make friends abroad. I've always felt like that was keys to my success in my career, right? Because it really opened my eyes to what is possible. And so, if anything, I would say just be open to travel, right? Yeah.
Okay, well, for those who like to continue this conversation with you, what is the best way that they can get in touch with you, learn more about Cherry Bekaert, as well as get in touch with you?
So they can actually reach me at blake.hancher@cbh.com. So if you just reach out there, shoot me an email, be happy to get into touch. And if you're interested in the Sage Intact construction platform, I'd love to take an opportunity to connect and learn a bit more about you and how we can help.
Well, this has been a great conversation, Blake. Thank you so much for joining AnyWare Apps podcast in this episode. And thank you for sharing your professional wisdom and your professional insights with us.
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And I wish you a great weekend.
You as well. Thank you.
Thank you. And to our listeners and to our viewers, I hope you enjoyed today's episode in AnyWare Apps podcast. What do you think? What is your take on AI? Please share your thoughts in the chat box, in the comments. We'll truly appreciate it. Join the conversation. We'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoy this episode, please subscribe, like, invite your friends, your contacts, share this episode with them. And we'll truly appreciate your support, your subscription, and your comments will be really helpful to AnyWare Apps podcast. Thank you very much. And we'll be right back after a short break. Thank you. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from AnyWare Apps by Kirk Consulting, now Cherry Bekaert. It is time to digitize and automate your business processes. AnyWare Apps designed for small and mid-sized companies as well as enterprise-level companies to help you digitize and automate your business processes. Today, I'd like to talk about one of the AnyWare apps that's very popular in the US. It is called Nonprofit Management AnyWare. If you are a nonprofit and you like to manage your donations, volunteers, fundraising events, your grants, and other documents for compliance and operational purposes, consider Nonprofit Management AnyWare. It is a completely cloud service. You can start using it today with no need for local installation on your server or on your local laptop and computers. It is user-friendly and it's easy to deploy, and you can start using it today. I have the QR code on the screen. You can scan the QR code and you can learn more about AnyWare apps, including Nonprofit Management AnyWare. Well, there is more. If you'd like to talk to me directly about AnyWare apps, you can just send me an email directly, kevin@kirkconsulting.com. AnyWare apps are modern, they are easy to use, they are affordable, practical, and more importantly, that's designed for you to help you digitize and automate your business processes. Scan the QR code or just send me a direct email, kevin@careconsulting.com. Thank you for your support. Support for the show comes from AnyWare apps by Care Consulting, now Cherry Bekaert. AnyWare apps are business software products designed for small and mid-sized organizations. They are ready to help you digitize and automate your business processes. Today, I like to promote Asset Management Anywhere. Asset Management Anywhere is a CMMS software system. CMMS stands for Computerized Machine Maintenance Management System. It is designed to help you manage your assets. Your assets may be your machinery, equipment, your buildings, trucks. You can register all of them on Asset Management Anywhere. Asset Management Anywhere comes with unlimited asset management capabilities. There is no limit, there is no upcharge. Moreover, you can perform your break and fix, preventive and predictive machine maintenance management operations on Asset Management Anywhere. If you have a fleet of trucks, you can also manage maintenance operations on Asset Management Anywhere. If you are performing facility management for plumbing, electrical, and other facility management needs, you'll also enjoy the benefits of Asset Management Anywhere. I have the QR code on the screen. You can scan the QR code to learn more about Asset Management Anywhere and Anywhere apps in general. There is more. I have a direct email for you. You can send me an email at kevin@careconsulting.com to ask your questions, also to schedule a demo, and I'll be happy to coordinate it with team AnyWare apps to show you the systems as well as address your questions. I'm looking forward to hearing from you, and I hope you enjoy AnyWare apps. Thank you for your support.